this is a good show because we do have multiple smokestacks, and we are following them to each other, which, in my opinion, it's better to shoot them all at the same time because you can actually see them coming towards each other. And I think that makes for a better show for everybody. Basically what they're going to see is they're going to fall towards each other. The two tall ones are going to fall towards each other, and the smaller stack, the brick stack, is also going to fall that way. The brick and the 400-footer basically are going to, I got them to where they're going to basically lay on top of each other. It's not going to last very long. Minute, it's over with. They're going to hear a boom, and what they need to look for is watch the top of the stacks, and that's where you get your show. And then as they get more and more laying over, the progression of fall is accelerated tremendously, and then they'll actually see them breaking probably in half before they hit the ground, and then they do a slapping effect when they hit the ground. By laying them over like a tree is the most practical and safest way of doing it. By laying them over like we are, I'm using a total of less than 200 pounds of explosives to bring down 3 stacks. Now, if we brought them down telescopically, I would have to use, probably a couple of thousand pounds. Plus, you would have to shoot it the whole length of it. That means we'd have to drill holes all the way up and down each one of them stacks. So your labor time, the explosives, and just the protection to keep all that fly rock from spreading the whole countryside is just not practical. We're taking out about 4 foot, blasting about 4 foot of each one of them columns. We knock 2 holes on each side. That's a hinge point. That determines how the stack is going to fall. And then in the front side, we knock a hole. It's called the mouth. The way I determine my holes in a stack is I take the circumference. Say one of them here's 100 foot, and that's a big boy. He's 100 foot around. That's the circumference. And I take 10% of that. And that's 10 foot. So each hole I knock in that is going to be 10 foot, as far as 10 foot wide. And then we normally make them about 6 foot tall. And the 2 side ones, on the sides, it goes up 6 foot. But as you go back, once you get past the halfway point of the opening, they go back at an angle. And that's the actual hinge. That lets the stack, that determines how the stack is going to fall. That's my savior as far as the stack falling where I want them to. And basically all we're doing is shooting 1/2 of the stack, the front half. The back half we pretty much leave alone. All we do in the back half is we go in there and we basically chip the concrete, expose the rebar, and in the morning of the shot we'll cut that rebar. I'm not nervous about it because I still know it's going to do what I want it to. This is a very unique job site because it is an environmental job site, and Cleveland and Asarco has done an excellent job as far as addressing those issues. The big issue here is dust. Cleveland, Asarco is doing an excellent job of watering the job down. I mean, they're putting 9,000 gallons a minute, and I have never heard of anybody putting that much water for smokestacks. That's very unusual. The more water you got on the ground, the better off you are. The wetter the ground is, when they do hit the ground, that's when you're going to get the most of your dust. My suggestion is that we start early enough that we get the ground good and wet, that they hit a mud area or a lot of water standing around. Wind speed is very, very important for this job. So if you got winds less than 5 miles an hour, that means the dust, what dust does it generate and does get away from the water, is going to dissipate over the job site because it doesn't have the winds to blow it away from the job site. And I noticed here in Montana or here in Helena, the wind is always calm of a morning. There's only been maybe one morning since I've been here that it hasn't been. So I think our chances are real good that it will happen as planned.